Joining me now is a fantastic former Oregon running back, somebody who I think is just perfect for joining our show just before the Civil War game. He experienced quite a few of them. I'm sure he's got stories to tell us from them. Mr. Jeremiah Johnson, sir, where are you joining us from today?
Joining you from BC, Vancouver, in Canada. Long way from home, but this is where I've been for the last 3 to 4 years, so it's home. It's our temporary home for now.
Canada is a great place to actually start from because, for those who may not know, you've carved out a pretty fantastic career up there in Canada. Before we get too far into the Oregon stuff that everybody knows we're going to get into, tell me a little bit about your experience being able to be a part of the CFL.
It's been a wonderful experience for me and my family. Coming up here from the NFL, you have a lot of questions. You have a lot of uncertainties about the league, and I just dove right in, and the league has been really good to me, and for my family, and it's really been really nice to actually get in touch with the traditions up here, and understand their way of life, so to speak, and their way of football. Although the football game is quite different than what it is down south. It's something that you get used to and something that you most definitely adapt to, and it is most definitely a fun game to play.
You spent this season with the Montreal Alouettes. That is a team that actually does have a host of former Oregon players. There are a lot of Oregon players spread throughout the entire league, though. Is there kind of a camaraderie or a community of former Ducks who are now spending their time up in Canada?
Oh, absolutely, man. Like you said, on Montreal itself, we have about 4 guys. Myself, Vernon Adams, Boseko Lacumbo, and Tyler Johnstone. And so, we always come together. We're always talking, and, you go across the league and you have, maybe a duck here and a duck there, and then after games we're taking pictures and we're, highly praising each other, that, one, we are a part of a fraternity of, Oregon Duck players, and that's most definitely that's sacred to us. And we respect the culture, and we just love to see, each Duck out there doing their thing.
You speak of being from this fraternity of Ducks. At one point, though, you had to make the decision to want to come to Oregon. After spending your time at Dorsey High School and being one of the best running backs in your region at the time, what was that decision-making process that landed you at Oregon?
It was a really hard choice for me. I took trips to places like USC, UCLA, even went down to Florida, pretty much all up and around the country. And the one thing that pulled me to Oregon is that college town fit where, I was kind of getting fed up with the city life, and coming to a place like Eugene, it slowed down. It was something that people just focus on football, focus on school, and that was something that I needed in my life. And, just conversing with my parents and trying to figure out the best place for me, Oregon was just the place for me to be. Going to I can remember going to my first visit, and we were playing Arizona State, and just going there and hearing that student section roar for the entire 60 minutes, and they did have this little section where they were kind of introducing the recruits that was coming on the trip, and I got the loudest roar. I got the loudest cheer, and they kept saying, "Come to Oregon Johnson, come to Oregon Johnson," and that one definitely gave me chills. And I said, I didn't get this reception from any other college team, and these guys accepted me, and I hadn't even signed a letter of intent. And I most definitely told that to my mom, and she said, "Well, I think you just made your decision." And in my opinion, I ended up meeting my wife and making a family here down there in Oregon. So I most definitely made the right choice to go down there for school and to play football.
Kind of following up with that, when was the last time that you were able to be in Eugene, whether it was for a game or just to be able to visit?
I haven't been to a game in about a good 7 years because I've been so caught up in this. I'm the type of guy that's like blinders on, and I have a certain goal to hit. I have something, trying to figure out up here in Canada. So it was one of them things where, I always wanted to go back and never went to a game. But I'm sorry. I went to a couple games, and that was like right after, I got out of college and was in the NFL for a bit. Went to 2 games, but after that, once I went to Canada, it was just up here in Canada trying to make a life out here and trying to figure things out. But, my wife's parents lives in Sutherland, Oregon, in the Roseburg area, and so I go back to visit and relax there and kind of on some, on some hiding type stuff, like, staying behind the scenes out there, just kind of want to go back to just relax and just spend time with family.
Well, I know for a fact that if and when you do decide to come back for a game, Oregon fans will be more than happy to embrace you. During your time at Oregon, you were in a running back room that was run by Gary Campbell and had so many very, very talented players in there with you. Tell us a little bit about that competition that you experienced being at Oregon, being coached by Coach Campbell, and then having so many talented guys around you, whether it's Jay Stu, LeGarrette Blount, LaMichael James, so forth.
Right. I have a funny story about that, actually. I took my second trip to Oregon, and Coach Campbell is such a great guy. Was a great father figure for myself, and for a lot of guys that he's had a chance to coach, and I just really like being around him. But going around, he's introducing me to guys, coaches, other players, and Jonathan Stewart and his mom walk up, and I'm thinking he's actually a coach because the guy was built. The guy was 5'11", 235 pounds coming out of high school. So I was like, wow, just looking at this guy, I'm like, there's no way he could be a player. I'm only standing at 5'9", 187, 200, I'm not even touching 190. And I'm like, oh, okay, how's it going, coach? And he's like, he's Jonathan Stewart. And I've heard of his name before. I'm like, oh, my God, this guy is massive. And just meeting him and because most coaches will keep 2 of their top recruiters away from each other because you don't want them to butt heads or you don't want them to kind of, feel any slighted from the next player. But Coach Campbell said it real clearly. You guys come to Oregon. You 2 are going to make one of the best dynamic duos that Oregon has ever seen. And just making that decision based on that, it was something awesome for me. Just to know that I can come in and actually get an opportunity. Like you mentioned, we had guys like LeGarrette Blount. You had guys like my man LaMichael, Kenyon Barner. LaMichael and Kenyon, those guys are like my young pups, I call them. I remember LaMichael's first day in Eugene. My coach called me and said, hey, you need to pick up this kid. He needs to stay with you for a month until school starts. And I brought him right on in. And LaMichael was a quiet kid, and, we had to kind of get him out of his shell. And he turned out to be one of the greatest running backs in Oregon history. And same with Kenyon. A lot of people don't know Kenyon Barner came in as a young DB. And, when talking to Gary Campbell about, because we needed another running back, I said, man, you might as well, bring up Kenyon Barner because you see him on scout team when he plays defense. He's always hungry. And we already know he played running back in high school. So how about we just give him a shot? And, he flourished right away. And, LeGarrette Blount, he's already a guy who's coming from Perry, Florida, coming from the distinctive junior college. And, he's done his thing, big guy, can run hard, always jumping over everybody. And I always told him to be careful. But, hey, he's always came down on the top end. But, just another great guy just to be around. And, Gary Campbell just had that family feel. We all came in as brothers. We all left as brothers. And the love is still there and it's still strong.
It's amazing to hear that relationship and those relationships are all still so strong and that you guys are all still able to be so close after being through as much as you guys undoubtedly were. A quick question. You mentioned LaMichael's first day. It makes me think, On this podcast, Nick likes to tell stories about when, especially over summers, when they would make you guys spend time in the dorms on campus. And I'm curious whether or not you've got any fun anecdotes from those times.
Well, it's funny because, you know, at those times when I was a young guy coming in, you know, you had guys doing certain things and trying to embarrass the guys. But for me, I was more on the point of getting these guys to be more comfortable with you know, around other guys. I can tell you a couple of stories, but I think they're a little too personal. You know what I'm saying? Where we're sitting there just talking and trying to figure each other out, and you know, things. You know, when you get so comfortable, things come out. You know, but I could say that when we're in that dorm, it is always fun. You're always teasing. You're always making sure you're on your P's and Q's because you just don't know what's going to happen. One of my favorite pranks we used to do on the younger classmen is we used to fill up a bucket of water, more like the dorm trash can, the little dorm trash can they have in the dorm room. We fill it up. So what me and my guys did, we filled up about 10 of those things halfway, and we leaned them against all of our freshman doors. And simultaneously, they got the knock, so it was like da 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 all the way down the hall. And each and every one of them opened up that door, and that water that leaning against the bottom of the door flooded the whole room. So the first half of the room is just soaking wet. They're trying to figure out who did it. All the upperclassmen are like, bro, we were too old for to be playing around with y'all. And, you know, so we got them going to get each other who's who. So they're getting each other back. And that was one of the things that was one of my, you know, because I, you know, got these guys to do it. So it was one of my favorite things. I still don't think, I think I just gave myself up because I think they never knew that I had anything to do with it.
We're being joined by Jeremiah Johnson, the prank king of the University of Oregon. You played 4 seasons with the Ducks, fantastic in all of them, but your senior season in 2008 was far and away your best opportunity to kind of showcase yourself. Going into that season when you knew that you were definitely going to be able to touch the ball a lot and have quite a bit of impact on every game that you went into, what was that feeling like and what was that preparation like going into that season?
It was crazy because remember my junior season I was out for the season with the ACL, and so there was one of the things where mentally I was bogged down. Mentally I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to come back and, you know, play at the same level that I've been playing. And, you know, it took a lot of praying. It took a lot of support from my now wife, Chanel, and, you know, back home support and the guys around me support to get, you know, my mental right back where it needs to be. I remember Jonathan Stewart coming up to me and saying, man, you know, I just put my bid in to go to the NFL, and, you know, they're saying I can go first round. And that's what I'm going to do so I can let you do your thing. And, you know, that was really big for me because, you know, I have no problem with sharing the backfield with another mate. But, you know, I just feel like I am a number one back, you know, that can take on 25 to 30 carries a game and do well with those carries. But when he told me that, that really made my confidence go sky high because I knew that, you know, one, I was going to be the guy. And our season is going to be depending on me and our other starters to do what we have to do to, you know, to reach the success that we want to reach. And so going into that senior season, you know, I went for it. You know, I didn't have any regrets. Every cut that I made it feeling 100% about it, and, you know, and it worked out for me. Just off the strength of coming off an ACL injury, coming back in 6 or 7 months, practicing all full practice in spring, and you know, having a great camp, and then coming in the season and finishing it with about 1,200 yards and 13 touchdowns. And I think 13 touchdowns, and I think I averaged about like 6.1 or 5.9. That was really big for me personally, because that was something that a lot of people don't come back from an ACL injury, and being able to go out there and play at the same intensity and the same level that I did in my first 3 years there. So that was big for me, and so grateful for Coach Campbell and Bellotti and Chip Kelly to believe in me in coming back and doing so. And so I even look back on it now and say, if these guys didn't believe in what I brought to the table, I can most definitely be in another position in my life right now.
I got to give you credit because you almost completely nailed that across the board. I had to pull it up once you said it. But you said you went for 1,200 and you went for 1,201 and average 7.1. So I got to give you credit there. You nailed that.
Nice. I'm getting old in age, so I'm trying to remember back there.
You mentioned that 2008 squad, and I know this was a question that Nick was definitely curious about. You played with so many studs, whether it was a guy like Patrick Chung or Max Unger. Who are some of the guys that really stick out to you on that team, whether it was just attitude, play on the field, or what they've been able to make out of their careers?
Number one, Max Unger, man. He was the leader of our line. Leader of our line. We had guys like Jeff Schwartz, who just out there just massive and just doing things. But, for me as a running back, you count on a plethora of players, but you really hone in on your line, your quarterback, and your defensive players like Jerry Bird, Patrick Chung, Jerome Boyd, Walter Thurman. Those guys are the guys that I came in with, except Jeremiah Masoli. He coming in late from junior college. But, we all came in together either by freshmen or, sophomores. And, we all used to hang out and say, hey, man, this is our senior season. We gotta make it do what it do. You know what I'm saying? We gotta go out here and try to get this Pac-10 championship and get to this Rose Bowl. So that's most definitely one of our goals to trying to hit. But the love that we have for each other, the camaraderie that we have for each other, was way more greater than any, team goal that any team can set. We relied on each other. We trusted each other. We just most definitely honed in on what each of us can bring to the table. And I never had to worry about if Max Unger was ready. I never had to worry about if Jay Bird was ready or Jerome Boyd or Pete Chung was ready. I never had to worry if Walter Thurman was ready. You know what I'm saying? Those guys came ready all the time, every game, every practice. So we never had to worry about each other, and that's what I think what made that 2018 great. We had a lot of naysayers that year. With us losing Jonathan Stewart, with us, trying to figure out our quarterbacking situation. And we just believed in each other. We didn't listen to the outside. We just stayed in, and we trusted in our nucleus, and we made things happen for ourselves.
It's about time we finally get to it, Jeremiah. It is that week in every single football season. When you hear the name Oregon State Beavers, what comes to your mind?
Kill them. That's something that, I don't like that team at all. I don't like the colors. I don't like it's funny because the people that you're cool with and they go there, they tend to start to act like a Beaver. And you say, no, I don't like you anymore. And so when, especially playing in that atmosphere, you grow hatred for the opposition, and I know hate is a very, very strong word, but between those lines, that's what it is. Between on that gridiron, when that whistle blows and that first kickoff goes, that's what it is. We demolish this team. We don't like this team. We don't care if they're 10-0. We don't care if they're 0-10. We're going to come out here and try to put up 60 points on you and keep you down to 0. And that's been a mindset for years when it comes to this Civil War. And it's funny the name Civil War because we're so close to each other. We're so close. And, we tend to go down to their city and have some good times, and they come down to ours and have a good times. And there's always you could say like the Great Wall of China, like, hey, don't come in my city and trying to, do this and do that, And so it's one of them things where, when it's go time, it's truly go time.
During your career at Oregon, the Ducks and Beavers split your 4 Civil War games, you winning in 05 and 08, them winning in 6 and 7. The 08 game is a very special game in a lot of Duck fans' hearts, not just because you guys were able to come into Reser Stadium and get an upset victory, but also because you were able to keep your little brother from making it to that Rose Bowl game. You yourself had a monster of a game that day. Going into that game, what was the feel in the locker room? What was everybody thinking, knowing that you had a mighty task in front of you to take down Oregon State?
Going in that locker room and, just kind of walking from the bus to the locker room is quite a bit of a walk. And then you're seeing all of this orange and black, and they're talking their smack, and, we in our locker room, and, we had a point in our season where, we're third, we lost to Cal, and, we're feeling bad about ourselves, and, and one thing about it was like, okay, well, we are where we are, but we have a chance to knock off these guys and make history. They beat SC in a dramatic fashion, and they're riding on high. And they're thinking they're on their way to the Rose Bowl. And, realistically, that's where we think, and that's where we know we're supposed to be. But we had a couple missteps during the season. But going in that locker room, it was a sense of let's go be the people that comes into the party that's not supposed to be there and just mess the whole thing up. You know what I'm saying? Let's go in there and be the spoilers. Just go in there and just be the people who's gonna come in here and just dominate and ruin everything for the opposition. And just talking to the guys, getting the guys together and just, doing our chant, talking and getting guys ready. Everybody had the eye of the tiger in their eyes, man. Everybody had to look like there's no way that Oregon State is going to beat us and go to the Rose Bowl. That's not going to happen on our watch. And when we go out there on that field, they sitting out here, all the fans got roses in their mouths, like it's going to be some cakewalk. And that really fired us up, man. That really fired us up. And the fact that these guys really think that they're going to run Rogers all day, all night on us and keep the ball throw the ball to the other Rogers and trying to dominate us. And we went in there and excuse my language, we went in there and kicked their ass. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it was all about. We didn't care if you were the best team in the nation. We didn't care if you were the worst team in the nation. All we knew is when it came down to this Civil War game, the record is 0-0, Mono versus Mono, Oregon versus Oregon State. And we know that Oregon will always prevail in that rivalry. And we went out there and we played our butts off.
Before we dive too deep into specific aspects of that game, Nick definitely wanted me to ask you about some of the more interesting or more fun traditions going into Civil War week that the team would participate in.
Oh, man, we had this nice chant before, you say, after practice, every day that week after practice. I would say it, but it used a lot of profanity. I don't know if this podcast, could take profanity, but it's really bad.
We would let you get away with it.
Let me go upstairs because my kids are around. So let me go upstairs, and get away from the kids' ears. But after every game, after every practice, we sing this chant, OSU, our pants are off you. Beavers, bastards, sons of bitches, too. Well, you smoke a cigarette, we will have sex, we'll say the other word. We were at your major race, OSU, fuck you, You know what I'm saying? We would say that after every single practice, and that's one of the things that made us laugh, and that's one of the things that got our piss extremely hot and just ready to go and whoop some butt.
Well, in that game, you certainly did, as you said, kick some butt. Over 200 yards in the first half alone. A couple of incredibly long runs, dramatic runs that I definitely remember being able to listen to and being so excited to hear. When you're in such a big game like that, your offensive line gives you a perfect hole and you're just flying down the field. What is going through your mind in those moments?
Score a touchdown, and knowing the history of the game is just you get so filled with excitement. You get so filled with the attitude of 1-2. You get so filled with the attitude of no one can stop me. And I remember the first 74-yard run, I believe. It's a stretch to the right, and Coach Campbell always been saying, listen, it may be in the A gap, it may be in the B gap, but I can bet my last dollar that it's going to be in that C gap, and you're going to have a receiver blocking, and you're going to hit that thing full speed. And just like he said, that's exactly what happened. I came around that corner, the big hole there, and I just took off. There's no one there, and I got so excited. And, when you're running so fast and you take that deep breath, you tend to hold it. And it's really on accident. You know what I'm saying? And I'm holding my breath. I'm like, no, you need to breathe. You need to breathe. In my head, breathe. So I can really try to take off and run. But by the time I get down 74 yards on the field, I ran out of gas, get tackled, get pushed over into the band. My bandmates are all getting hyped and happy and stuff like that. It's so exhilarating to just run so fast, the fastest that you can. And on top of that, knowing that the crowd is going crazy, even the Oregon State people, you see them with their heads down like, oh my gosh, and that's when you're like, okay, yeah, we got these dudes. We got to keep going. We got to keep doing what we got to do. So it was so fun. That run was extremely fun.
The one that always sticks out to me is when you're able to get to the sideline, you bobble the ball, you save it, and you're able to score.
Yeah.
When you come back to the sideline, what are your coaches saying to you after being able to save that from being a fumble and turning it into a touchdown?
Good. Coach Campbell said, wow, I don't know how you did that, but I'm glad you did, right? It was one of those things where, man, and, I ended up taking off. I think it's about maybe a minute left in the game, a minute left and a half, and they had us dead to rights. Where the way they were lined up, they had us dead to rights. I didn't know if I needed to cut it back or whatever, but they ended up shifting back to the field and leaving the boundary wide open. And Jeremiah snapped that ball and he handed it off to me, and it was like the Red Sea. It opened up so clearly, and in my head I said, wow, there's no one around. And I was like, just go. And so when I went to go, the guys come in, I said, no, it's enough space for me to kind of – he had a good angle. So I was like, this is enough space for me to kind of trying to go head up with him and then kind of veer off to the left and trying to give him a stiff arm to continue running down the field. And it actually worked. But I didn't notice that there was another guy on the side of him that came from the back and punched that ball out. And while I'm stiff arming this guy down to the ground, I feel the ball come out, and there's a picture of me just looking like, oh, and let me tell you, I was terrified. I said, oh, no, this cannot happen. And by the grace of God, that ball came right back into my hands, right back into my grasp. I take that ball, and I just continue running down, stiff arm another guy, beat another guy's ankle, got into the end zone. The referee thought I stepped out of bounds, so that was most definitely a trivial a moment in the game, trying to figure out if I stepped out of bounds or not. But I seen that big spin. I said, there's no way that I stepped out of bounds. That's a touchdown, 83 yards. I think that's the longest in Civil War history. You know what I'm saying? It's just a blessing to be a part of something like that and, have your name on a run and on a game that's still standing.
That game has so much meaning to so many Duck fans, and as somebody who grew up in the state of Oregon, who is currently an Oregon student, I have to tell you about my experience with that exact moment, that exact play, that exact game. And please, I do this to Nick all the time. I accidentally age him by reminding him that I am a college student, but at the time, I believe in 4th grade or something like that, before there was any kind of cable or anything in the house, I was a moderate Duck fan. I enjoyed it, but I was pretty young at the time. I remember that being one of the first games I knew that I was going to get home, listen to it on the radio, root for the Ducks, just because I wanted to be able to walk around the next day at school and feel good about wearing green and yellow and doing so. But that game, Jeremiah, that moment when you were able to dominate in such a fashion, that was the moment where I knew that Duck football had to be something that was a bigger part of my life. The moment I knew I wanted to be able to come to the University of Oregon and be able to follow my dreams through the university and onward. So for that, I just say thank you.
Oh man, you're welcome, and I think that's one of the biggest things of just going out there and just playing for the University of Oregon. I think the culture, it brings, kids like you to be like, hey, I'm gonna be a Duck for life, and you're one that I know that I touch, but we've as a Duck team, we probably touch millions of kids out there that just want to be Ducks, and that's one thing that I'm most proud about personally, because I fully immersed myself into the Duck community, was out there, with any community events and just being present. And I sure appreciate you, for remembering that and being able to listen to that and being able to be affected by that run, by that game, and by our team. And so I really appreciate you listening and carrying on to your Oregon career as a student and finishing up really strong. I appreciate that.
And of course, I appreciate everything you've done for Oregon and then moving forward just as a member of the Oregon community, as the football community. The last thing I want to be able to ask you, from what you saw of the University of Oregon when they first began to recruit you, from the team you see here in 2019 that's consistently in the college football playoff conversation, a team that's continually successful in the Pac-12, what does that change look like to you, and what does it mean to you as an alum?
As an alum, it means a lot to me that that we are continuing to be great. Most college programs, they get a bulk of players that's really great at some point in time, and they just start going downhill. But what we've paved the way for every future Duck to want to come to our school and put on those green and yellows and put on those amazing jerseys that we have, and is ready to put on for Eugene, the state, and just be present. And even when kids now are in their recruiting stages, they think of the flash and the glitz and the glamour that we bring, the swag that we bring. But when they come, they understand the tradition that we also, all the past Ducks that they have brung. We talking about the Dennis Dixons. We talking about the Jay Stews. We talking about even the guy before them. You know what I'm saying? So it's more of being in the now, and it's more about being one of the numbers that can make tradition happen, and that can make our tradition very, very strong and rich, and to keep having great players come to our school so we can continue to be great as an organization and as a program. And so that's what I think is really awesome as an alum, to see that you're still getting 4 and 5 star guys who wants to come to our school. And the main thing about it is it's not about getting the best player. It's about getting the best person. And that's what I see the most. We're getting really upstanding young individuals who can hold their own in the community, as far as staying out of trouble, as far as staying in school and getting their degree, as far as being a person to look up to in the community, and that's what it's all about. That's one thing Gary Campbell told me when I came in and signed. He said, we not only want you to be a top tier Oregon Duck player here, we want you to be a top tier and even greater person to the community that surrounds you, for the kids and the adults to see that we're not only bringing great players here, but we're bringing great people here to this great state and this great city.
One of these great people is Jeremiah Johnson, our guest right now. Jeremiah, thank you for so much. Thank you for being willing to come on here. Thank you for the impact that you've had on myself as well as so many other Ducks. We all appreciate it, and please feel free to come back to Eugene to a game as soon as you want.
Absolutely, man. I sure appreciate the call, man. It's been a delight just going back in my history and talking about these things, and I sure appreciate the call and having me on the show. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, Jeremiah. Thank you so much.
All right.